Hey, congratulations to you all out there because you have made it to the debut episode of Yahoo Sportsbook Live. That's right. I welcome no one here because this is just a show. It's not a real, we're not in the same room together. Minty and I aren't even in the same room together, but that's enough of me talking. Minty, my co-host, it is so great to be doing this with you. It's week 1 of the NFL season. I'm gassed up. I'm excited. Tell me what has caught your eye from these early games actions from like a sports betting perspective. See, I'm so crazy with the games I can barely even speak.
Yeah, so this was kind of a slow start to begin with, but it looks like offense has picked up. I mean, there are so many games I have my eye on. I told you, a couple minutes ago before the show started that I bet the Bengals on the money line at plus money. That is one I'm looking forward to. I do think they can beat the Vikings. Take that, Matt Harmon. You had Joe Burrow under passing yards, and he may very well go under, actually. You might very well win that. But I think the Bengals can win this straight up.
I don't know. Yeah, I took the under on that one, but I just saw a huge deep pass from Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase. You got to respect Jamar Chase. That's what you always do. You under-promise, which is basically what his preseason was, and then you over-deliver in week 1. There was no more inefficient play last year than Joe Burrow to A.J. Green on deep passes. Well, you sub out the old guy, you bring in the rookie, and this is exactly what you get. Pretty electric result there. All right, let's just jump right into some of these games that are happening right now. Let's talk Eagles-Falcons off the top here. This one's pretty interesting overall. I definitely think that Jalen Hurts came out looking really good. Devontae Smith scores the first touchdown. I talked about this one early on. I think Devontae Smith is going to make a big difference for this team because he can actually get open, whereas no one on that team last year could get open. What's caught your eye from this game so far?
I'm so shocked that, Arthur Smith now as the head coach of the Falcons, we had high expectations on offense. We thought this was going to be a shootout, a high-scoring game, or a blowout on the Falcons, but I'm surprised the score is what it is, 7-6. But, we talked about Devontae Smith a lot in FFL earlier, so I'm glad he got that first touchdown out of the way. That was beautiful.
No doubt. That was definitely good to see. One thing that's interesting from this game from a fantasy perspective, Mike Davis, 11 carries. Cordarrelle Patterson fully emerged as the number 2 running back here, 7 carries as well. So that is something to keep in mind as well. Interested to see that game as there's about 2 seconds left in the half. Now, Minty, I know you have some thoughts about this Steelers-Bills game. We were talking about this a little bit before we got rolling here. This was a game that opened up at a really high total, but we have absolutely not seen any offensive fireworks, or not very much of it, at least so far.
Yeah, so I figured it wouldn't be a high-flying offensive game. Right now the Bills are up 10-0 at the half. The halftime bet now, the total is 31.5, and it opened at 51. I hammered the 51. I hammered under, and I posted that on Twitter, so there are receipts. I don't think there's going to be much scoring here. Now I'm kind of doubting if the Steelers can cover or not, but the Steelers are great at keeping this game close. What they don't have what they lack in offense makes up in defense. So I don't know. I would look to that under, but man, it's low, 31.5. The Steelers right now are plus 9.5, so I might hop on that plus 9.5 if you guys haven't bet the Steelers yet.
No, yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think what's interesting here, too, is that the Bills come out. They're up 10 now at the half, and obviously the one touchdown goes to Gabe Davis there. But looking on the Pittsburgh side of it, too, the one big concern about this team, obviously one was Ben Roethlisberger, right? Is he going to be able to hack it for another season? But the bigger thing was they're transitioning their offensive coordinator overall. The system is changing a little bit, which is good. They needed a refresh there, but also this offensive line is very inexperienced, very green, and I wonder if that's got something to do with the fact that Najee Harris, their first-round pick, 7 carries for 8 yards to start here. That is not exactly what you want out of your first-round pick there. I think it would behoove the Steelers to open things up more in the second half. Maybe we'll see some more there. But, so I'm with you. I kind of like that line where it is right now, Minty. Let's move on to the Vikings Bengals. We talked about them early on a little bit with Jamar Chase, obviously. You took the over on T. Higgins was your player prop that you took the over on his yardage total as well early on. So you were kind of in on the Bengals. I will admit that I was skeptical about this Bengals team, but man, maybe I should have been a little more skeptical about this Vikings team overall.
Yeah, so them playing on the road doesn't typically fare well. You know, they covered only 6 games out of 16 games last season, while the Bengals covered 9 games, not very much. But Joe Burrow in his starts, he was 6-3-1 against the spread before getting injured. I mean, if Cincy was supposed to be that bad of a team, if they were projected to be that bad, why were they only 3-point underdogs? So yeah, it was risky with a short point spread, but there's so much time left. I still love Cincy though, and I bet them on the money line maybe like 10-15 minutes ago, plus 135. Hopefully that cashes. I have a good feeling. I feel like they will open their season with a bang.
I love it. I really like that. Let's move on to this game that has definitely caught my eye. The San Francisco 49ers, 31-10 over the Detroit Lions. Our Yahoo Fantasy social media guru, Trevor Lewis, right over here, said to me that the 49ers look like an SEC team facing an FCS team to start their college football regular season. Absolute banger of a line by Trevor, because that's exactly what's happened. You know, we've seen guys like Trenton Sherfield out there. Trey Sermon, their much-hyped rookie running back, was inactive for this game. Brandon Ayuk playing a little bit of a lesser role here. It looks like it's just like, oh, well, we could beat the Lions with our second team. Trey Lance actually getting a touchdown pass early on as well. So, Minty, right now, the Lions, the current line, that's unbelievable. The Lions are like plus 23.5, plus 22.5. What is going on here? Is there any temptation there? Is there any temptation? Or do the Lions just look that bad that it's like, no thanks?
Jaw-dropping. I mean, the Lions, I thought that maybe there was a chance they could keep this one close. I think Jared Goff still has it in him, but man, this offense, it just cannot score. Maybe the San Francisco defense is just really good. We knew San Francisco coming in, their offense was stacked, defense was healthy, and that's what mattered the most. I think we kind of saw the writings on the walls as San Francisco was favored at first at 7.5 and then up to 9 today. I don't know if I touched that point spread, but the over is kind of intriguing. 61.5, that seems like a lot, but I think they could do it, and I think it'll be all San Francisco.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of San Francisco, and like basically if you play fantasy, anything like that, just go ahead and start any running back against this Lions team. I'll tell you that. Just go ahead and start any Lions against this. Oh, jeez. What a mess. Okay, let's talk Panthers and Jets next. The Panthers up 16-0 on the Jets right now. Sam Darnold and Robbie Anderson connected on a deep pass for a little revenge spice there. Carolina right now, the current line is minus 15.5. Honestly, I expected a little more life out of the Jets in this game. I expected a little more life from the passing game. Zach Wilson looked great in the preseason. Corey Davis was like a target monster for this team, but it has not gone well so far. Do you think there's any chance the Jets could actually make this a little more interesting here in the second half, Minty?
You know, I totally agree with you. I thought that Zach Wilson coming in, and we were going to see a little bit more life, and people had high expectations for them, even though they're in this division. But, oh my gosh, I can't touch this line. I think Carolina was given too much credit being favored 3.5 points. I think earlier in the week they were like 5.5 point favorites, and I would have taken the Jets. I don't think with a rookie quarterback and this offensive line they can bounce back and keep it close, so I would be on the Panthers here.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, it's a tough spot for Zach Wilson to start his career. Just, you know, despite the fact that he looked good in the preseason, everything like that, this is still a team in the Panthers that has a lot of guys on offense too. I mean, we've seen DJ Moore. Like, DJ Moore is taking that next step in front of our eyes here. Like I mentioned, Robbie Anderson makes the big play there too. So there's just a lot of talent on this Panthers offense for these guys to contend with. Another interesting one I want to hit on here, because I've seen a few folks in our Facebook chat, and we appreciate you all watching out there. I know Chris Williams basically saying, like, what's going on with DK Metcalf here? Because, you know, we've got Tyler Lockett ripping it for 2 touchdowns, contributing to that 21 points that the Seahawks have over the Colts right now. Not too much from DK in this game, but a lot from Tyler Lockett. Gerald Everett pops in for a touchdown. Gerald Everett was so underrated coming into this year as a guy coming over from the Rams offense with Shane Waldron. He makes his way into the end zone there. listen, we can definitely talk about this game overall, Minty. What did you expect out of this game overall? And I've seen that you said the Colts really should have never been favored in the first place when the line opened up.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. I don't get why Carson Wentz was favored over Russell Wilson. It doesn't make sense to me. Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. He can throw a deep, beautiful ball, and he plays close games. So it makes sense that the line was where it was. Now, in terms of DK Metcalf, you said, I am so sad because I have DK in like all of my fantasy teams, and I should have known better not to draft one same player for every team. But seeing Tyler Lockett pop off, good for him. I am loving it. I was so high on the Seahawks, so I hope this stays like this. I had the over as well, and I think this was expected to go under because of that Colts defense. But man, the Seahawks look good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Listen, DK's time will come. I got news for you, Minty, and I got news for all the beautiful people out there. There's 2 more quarters to play in this game. I bet you DK gets a little action in there. Don't freak out, okay? It is like, for all the people out there, it's like, thanks a lot for telling me to draft Brandon Ayuk. I'm like, just remember you sent this to me in like a month, pal. Like, relax.
Yeah.
It's a long season we got here. These games aren't even over yet. One last thing before we transition to kind of some props for the later games, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, all of that. Let's just hit back in on this Eagles-Falcons game right now, because I do think this one is really interesting. The Eagles have now taken, a relatively commanding lead, 15-6 at the half. One thing that surprised me, it's not so much that I was out on Jalen Hurts or anything, not at all, but I think he's looked really good as a passer. Again, Falcons defense, not great. Miles Sanders out there actually getting a lot of work, playing a huge snap share for this team. That's good news for the people that drafted him in fantasy. Right now, the current line, Eagles, -6.5. Minty, do you think they can hold like a pure, just almost touchdown lead over this Falcons team, or will the Falcons' talent with Calvin Ridley, who was getting a ton of work early on, Kyle Pitts, Matt Ryan, do you think they start to check in? Do you think they start to check in and make this game a little closer going forward?
Well, I mean, this Eagles team isn't the Falcons, okay? The Falcons are the ones that lose leads all the time, lose games, lose bets. So I would ride with the Eagles here, or I should say I would fly with the Eagles here. But man, a touchdown? That's kind of a lot to ask for Jalen Hurts, I might wait a little till the Falcons catch up and then maybe hit the Eagles at -2.5, -3. I think that might be safer here.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. One thing to update as well, Ryan Fitzpatrick has officially been ruled out for the rest of this game. We are looking at, right now, the Washington football team is +2.5 right now with Ryan Fitzpatrick out for the rest of this game. So we'll see if the pride of Old Dominion University, Taylor Heineke, has a little more magic in him like he did when he kind of kept things close. Against Tom Brady and the Bucs in the playoffs last year. All right, let's transition to Sunday Night Football. We've got the Bears at Rams. -8.5 are the Rams at home. Minty, I don't like the Bears vibes coming into this game. I'll admit that. Like, you're shaking your head over there. They're rolling Andy Dalton out as like basically the sacrificial lamb behind a hideous, banged up, like did not go to plan offensive line. Aaron Donald's on the other side of the field. Jalen Ramsey's on the other side of the field. Tell me why I shouldn't be picking the Rams in my survivor pool. That I shouldn't take them at -8.5. I shouldn't be. We'll talk about some player props in a second, but I just feel like this is going to be a huge debut for the new look Rams with Matthew Stafford on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I just can't with this matchup. It's so hard because. Is it too obvious that the Bears are just going to be this bad with Andy Dalton starting? I mean, the Rams are such a much better team. Line at 8.5, that's such a tricky number. I mean, like I said earlier in the FFL show, they've got a solid defense, a dynamic offense, upgraded quarterback. How can you not take the Rams here? And Sean McVay is a covering machine against NFC opponents. Well, so I got to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I hear you. I think I'm taking that 8.5 as well. I did pick them actually in my survivor pool. I think it's just too good of a spot. A couple of props here to hit on for this team as well. I kind of like Daryl Henderson over 12.5 carries. I know we talked about him for one of our over-unders early on in FFL. I do think you could get the over on this one as well because he is a guy right now that is he's in a good spot as the guy that knows the system for this backfield. Sony Michel, I think this committee will go like Henderson 1 week, Michel 1 week, Henderson for a month, Sony Michel for a month. But for week 1 here, in a game that Minty and I are both saying the Rams can cover the spread, they can beat the Bears by a pretty good amount here. I think they're going to control the game. There's going to be a lot of rush attempts, and I think Henderson is the guy. And I like taking the carries number over the yardage because I don't know what the efficiency is going to look like, but I do think the opportunity will absolutely be there. He's only $18 in our Yahoo DFS game. Our single game contests are up there, so absolutely like that as well. Minty, let's talk the Ravens and Raiders real quick for your Raiders, your Las Vegas Raiders out there. Ravens are -3.5 at the Raiders on Monday night. What is your instinct on this game? Like, a lot of questions for the Ravens and their backfield and everything, but man, I still feel like they've got the athletic advantage with Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, over that defense.
They certainly do, but the Raiders are really good during Monday Night Football, and I think it's kind of tough to play at home in front of all those fans, me included. I'm going to be yelling and screaming, coming to work, no voice the next day. I actually have the Raiders to win straight up. So, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to let my bias take over, but I really think, especially with all these injuries plaguing the Ravens here, so I like the Raiders.
I like that call, and look, I've got a couple props here for this one as well. I could tell you about the Lamar Jackson one. That's an easy one. I could tell you about the Mark Andrews one. That's an easy one. Let me give you a sneaky one here. Bryan Edwards, over 3.5 catches. He's done this exactly 0 times in his career, so there is that. But you know this, Minty. Bryan Edwards is now going to be the starting X-receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders after winning that job in camp. Let's not forget, they actually wanted him to be that guy last year when he started the first 3 games before getting injured. Wasn't really doing too much, but, you know, he's a rookie, all that, whatever. I think in this game, with Marcus Peters on IR now with a serious injury, you know, the Ravens still have a very good secondary. Marlon Humphrey, all those guys are still going to be out there, but I kind of think this is sneaky. And again, if you're playing our Yahoo single game DFS contest, he's only $10. That's going to help you access Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller to be able to get all those guys in your lineup. Give me 4 catches here for Bryan Edwards. 4 or 5. I really think this guy is a very sneaky play and is going to be good for the duration of the season. He's kind of the key for their passing game to take the next step there. Well, Minty, that was a fast, like 15 plus minutes for us here. The games are still happening. There's so much excitement. I hope everybody gets out there, takes some of the advice that Minty was able to give you here, and have a profitable week 1. Minty, any other final thoughts before we get out of here?
Thank you for joining us for halftime, and good luck, everyone.
Appreciate y'all out there. Enjoy the rest of the games here in week 1 and everything beyond.